Now we turn our attention to the Owls of Rice. And joining us, their head football coach, David Bailiff. David, good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you.
Also joining us, offensive lineman Trey Martin, fresh off shoulder surgery, and Emmanuel Ellerby, All-Conference USA 2016 first team. Gentlemen, welcome to you.
How you doing?
You and I have always talked in the past about, and the quote you gave me a few years ago, there's power in failure. Last year was a tough year because of injuries and a number of different things. Is that something that you bring up to the guys, that there can be power, that you didn't live up to expectations last season?
Yeah, I think that's what's fueling us right now. I think that's why we've had incredible, since we went to work in January on this coming season, that these seniors have been amazing men because we want to win. We came to Rice to win championships. We came to Rice to win football games, not lose them. And I think that has fired these guys up, especially they both were elected captains as juniors. So they're truly the team leaders, and they have made sure that there is a Rice standard, and they're making sure everybody around them is being held to that standard.
You got a tough start to the season because they're one of two teams that will face bowl teams in each of their 4 non-conference games. So they've got to be ready come September. Well, actually August for you going to Australia.
Yeah, it's a tough non-conference schedule. It is what it is. We're going to go try to win every one of them. What's amazing, though, we've got the longest road trip in the country to Australia, and we have the shortest in the country to U of H. So we have it all coming at us next year.
Now, you changed coordinators on both sides of the football. How much adjustment period is it for both offense and defense when you do that?
Well, you know what? I had been at Rice for 10 years, and really just we had become predictable defensively, so we absolutely changed everything we're doing defensively, changing everything offensively. I think Emmanuel can speak to the reps it's taken right now for them to become familiar with it and still play at the speed you need to win, and the same offensively. We've changed everything. Our approach, we think we've got to find a quarterback. We've got 3 really great candidates, and we got to find one of them that's going to give us a level of consistency. The offensive line is going to be our strength offensively. I think we're going to be a good football team, and I think last year's results have what led to the motivation that we have right now, because it doesn't feel good.
I'll get back to defense in a second, but one of the quotes you said, we've got to get somebody consistent at quarterback. You mentioned it, somebody you can rely on. Were you disappointed you didn't come out of spring with that person?
Well, we were prepared for that too, you would have loved for one of them just to separate and take in the team. But it would be, JT Granado may be absolutely fabulous one day, and then the next day it was Tyner Jackson. It just or Jackson Tyner. It changed where all 3 of them, Sam Glassman, took turns looking like the guy and took turns where you say, we're really afraid to call him the starter right now because of turnovers or snap count, just different things. And they've been working hard all summer, and, we're waiting on one of them to separate, and, it'll come.
You have 4 starters returning on the offensive line, and reading articles from spring, you raved about your offensive line. Now's your chance to do it again.
Well, really, we've got 5 returning starters in the offensive line, and we also have a 6th, Kenny Thompson, that didn't play last year. There'll be a senior this season, and we have Joseph Dill that started a game last year. So we have a lot of depth over there, and, Calvin Anderson and Sam Pierce have been 3-year starters. They're going to be juniors. Trey Martin's a senior. Corey Klingler started last year at guard. Trey's starting. Peter Godber are our 2 seniors in the O-line. I think it's going to be the strength of our offense, but I also think we're skilled and fast enough on the perimeter to really do some great things being led by that offensive line.
I'll tell you, the problem with the offensive line last season was obvious. 5 different combos on the offensive line through 8 weeks in 2016. But you gelled at the end of the season, then all of a sudden the offensive production went up.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works.
Yeah, that's amazing.
When you get your best players on the field. It's like Trey, for instance. Trey is a great player. Trey actually started for us as a true freshman in the defensive line and one of the few begged to go to offense. But he missed 4 games, last season, and that led to a lot of different people starting. And, Arneas Williams said it best. He came and talked to our football team. And he talked about how freshmen and sophomores are wet cement. They start to cure when they're juniors. They're hardened men as seniors. We're going to be a mature football team this year.
Want to talk about defense. Brian Stewart is the new defensive coordinator, was defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, worked with Houston and also Maryland. But what stood out to me is your defensive scheme is changing. Yours goes back to Gary Patterson all the way back at New Mexico. Did you have to look yourself in the mirror before any change you made? Said, listen, I've got to change before anything else changes?
Absolutely. You know, it's one of those you got to improve yourself to improve the team. After 1 year, I wouldn't, I thought, okay. But after 2 years where we just really suffered defensively, it was time for me to change. And you know what? I'm learning this defense. I don't know this defense. I'm trying hard to learn. It's a brand new vocabulary. That's what makes football so tough. Is everybody speaks their own language. So it's right now like I've been dropped in China, and I've immersed myself in what a Mike and what a Mo and, the different positions. And that's what the team's going through, too. They're learning this new vocabulary and how everything fits. Love Brian Stewart. He's a people magnet. Anytime you go by his office, players are in there visiting with him, and we're fortunate to have him.
Let's talk to Emmanuel Ellerbe. Led Conference USA in tackles per game at just over 10. Also was second in the conference in total tackles. The adjustment period during spring to try to get used to Coach Stewart's defense, how difficult has it been for you?
It was a challenge at first for sure. Been running the defense that we were running for 3 years, knew it like the back of my hand. And then for you to change everything, like Coach said, it's like you're getting dropped off in a foreign country and they're telling you to find your own way. And that part was hard, but Coach Stewart is a great coach. Spent a lot of time in his office, spent a lot of time in the defensive coaches' meetings, just learning, the different vocabulary that Coach is talking about every single day, knowing, what our certain checks are, when do we check certain things, and then being able to spend time in the film room by myself and in the film room with my teammates, being able just to be able to get recognition and understand what's going on. The more that we'd be able to do that, the more you'd be able to see it, the more you'd be able to retain and be able to produce better and be able to do more fluid.
The one thing that stands out, I think, when you look at the defense, you only forced 11 turnovers last season. Has that been a point of emphasis?
Yes, every
he says with a
day,
sigh.
Every single day. And it's probably, I want to say like a sigh, and, an excited sigh, because our coach is sitting up there like, hey, we need to get 4 turnovers today. Let's go get them. And we're playing 7-on-7, and we're just hungry. And every single time we get a turnover, everybody's excited because we watched our Baylor game last year. As soon as we got an interception, the whole entire stadium erupted. And we want to have more of that to happen because it makes excitement for not only the players but for the fans. And that's what we're trying to do, is just have excitement within our program, have excitement around our program, and know that you're going to see a good show on Saturdays, and it's going to be a good thing.
Trey, I'll get to you, I promise, but one quick question on this. Are you going to use multiple fronts this year in order to take pressure off the secondary?
If we have to, we could be really multiple defensively. Brian is, like I said, Brian's in charge. He's running the defense, but we have the ability to be an odd front, an even front, and to make everything fit. We could go right back to some nickel looks. I think we're going to have it all. What we have to do, though, it's not important how much I know or Coach Stewart know. What is important is how much these guys know and that they have the ability to play fast. So we can be multiple, but we can't do it to a point where they can't play fast and they're paralyzing themselves by trying to analyze what's happening. So we'll move cautiously as we add things and make sure we're not taking any speed of the game away from them.
Let's talk to Trey Martin, offensive lineman. Underwent off-season shoulder surgery. First, give us an update. How is the shoulder?
The shoulder's feeling great. We have a great trainers over at Rice University, and they've done a great job getting me back healthy, and I feel 100%.
How tough was it last year, all the different combos on the offensive line? Continuity is so much of playing on the O-line. Had to be difficult last year.
Oh, yes, sir. It was difficult for sure, working with different people in combination, not getting as comfortable. But like you talked about earlier, the last 4 games, we had a group that was together for 4 straight games, and that helped us out a lot, knowing and being comfortable with the person you're working with. Then our success on the offensive side showed with that, too.
We talked about making the transition from a new defensive coordinator, but going from a new offensive coordinator. The terminology, was that the biggest obstacle for you?
Yes, sir, for sure. The terminology and things switching up, but it's also a more offensive line friendly offense, I think, as well. We're going to let the offensive line pull and have some easier blocks on certain things, and I think it's helped out a lot.
The last 3 games, by the way, Rice averaged over 450 yards a contest, and they won 2 of the last 3. Coming into this season, and we were talking a while back when we were at the hotel lobby, did last season leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Yes, sir, it did. Having a bad season like that should leave a bitter taste in any competitor's mouth, I believe. So we have that hunger and that chip on our shoulder that we have to work hard and do things better to be successful.
Emmanuel, how about you?
For sure. I mean, for having success my freshman year going into the Hawaii Bowl and then missing a bowl game by one game next year and then having 3-3 and 9 season last year, I mean, that it irritates you, and it's something that every single time you're doing a rep, you're thinking about, because you want to be, at the end of the day, playing in a bowl game. You don't want to spend Christmas at home. You want to be at Christmas in a different place playing a game. And that's how I felt these past 2 Christmases. And so, for sure, it's definitely left a bitter taste in my mouth, and I know for sure in my team's mouth.
Only one home game for Rice up until October 7th. I want to talk about the Australian trip. Everybody's obviously excited, but that is a long way to go and play, and then you have to have that recuperation coming back. How concerned are you for that, and have their steps been taken to try to understand what could happen when you get back?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, one of the things we've done, we've relied. I've talked to Sonny Dykes a lot, who was the Cal team that went last year, and so he, a lot through his mistakes, I think we're going to be able to correct. And we're excited about going to Australia, but he said, when they got there and went to the practice field, they realized it was in meters, and they had to get that changed. And so we've made sure it's going to be in the yards. And, but I think we have a great plan for travel coming and going, and that includes the medical staff, our training staff, our strength staff, of just programs just going over there where, every 4 hours, some movement programs and stretching and things coming back. We're going to get them all compression pants so that, that they don't swell. So there's a lot that goes into it to make sure you're competitive. And then when you come back, Coach Dyke said, it took them 3 days before they could do anything and not to get frustrated. And so we're, using his experiences to I think, build a better plan. Fortunately, we don't have a game when we come home. Then we got to get on an airplane and go to UTEP.
How about you guys? Excited about the trip, or a little trepidation maybe? Start with you, Trey.
Excited for the trip. I mean, we get to go across the country and play a football game.
Country, the world.
Across the world, across the world. And play
got to
a football
teach
game.
geography at Rice here. But does it? You probably have never been in a plane ride that long, have you?
No, sir. So, I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be a great time.
You going to have your beats?
Yes, sir,
Okay,
for sure.
Just check it. The trip.
Yeah, I'm excited. Going across the world into a different continent for sure. I'm excited.
What a dig.
I got to give Trey, offensive defense competitiveness right there. But obviously going across the world to go play in Australia, play at a place where people don't talk the same that you, they'll probably have the same customs that you have, is something I'm excited about for sure. It's a business trip at the end of the day, but we're going to have a little enjoyment because we're there for a whole week. So I know Coach already has some things planned for us that we're going to go do. I'm excited to go down under for sure.
Of course, David Bailiff, the second longest tenured coach in Conference USA. I've known you a long time, and I know at this point, with just a couple weeks to go before the players report and what has transpired, you're biting at the bit, aren't you?
We're ready to go. I mean, we are absolutely ready to get this season started. We start July 23rd because we're a 0-week game. So it's here. It's not 2 weeks away. We're still in summer school when our practice starts. So we've had to make a great plan on how we're going to practice and get them to class by 8 in the morning too, and give them time to study at night because we got a week of study hall. So it's a week of class. So it's exciting. Can't wait to get it going. Love the seniors. Love the chemistry that this football team has. They've done nothing but everything they've been asked to do. They're exceeding expectations, and they're as excited as I am. We're ready to roll, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, David, good to see
Thank
you
you,
again,
Ron.
my friend.
Great
I wish
seeing
you
you.
guys the best of luck. Stay healthy. Have fun in Australia.
Thank you.
We'll continue our coverage of Kickoff Day here in Dallas right after this.